As we embark on this journey of understanding how to shift perceptions, it's essential to realise the way we think today is no longer bound by the limitations of the past. We no longer think like we did in the 70s. We no longer process information like old computers with their rigid codes. We've evolved, and so has the world around us. Technology, much like our own minds, is no longer just about lines of code. It's become something far more fluid, more intuitive, just like the visual interfaces we interact with every day. Our thinking and our processing, they're in constant evolution, always interacting with the world in a way that mirrors this more dynamic, responsive approach. Now imagine for a moment that your brain, much like a computer, it's processing vast amounts of information, but instead of merely crunching numbers or executing commands, your mind, your neurology, is constantly mimicking the world around it. It's not just that technology mirrors our neurology, or vice versa. It's these systems beneath the surface. They're intricately linked, almost like two dancers moving in unison. And just as technology is capable of storing, processing, and responding to data, so too is our brain processing everything that we encounter, storing meaning, and responding in ways we're not always aware of. This hidden data buried deep in our visual constructs might not be immediately obvious, but it's always there, waiting to be uncovered. Our thoughts, our perceptions, they're built from metaphors. And it's these very metaphors that shape our experience, guide our actions, and provide meaning to the events that unfold in our lives. You see, our biology, at its core, it's a metaphor, a physical expression of a deeper, more abstract idea. Everything around us are sensations, are experiences. Even something as seemingly simple as pain, they're just interpretations of the world around us. Take physical pain, for instance. It's not simply a raw sensation. It's an interpretation of something deeper, something symbolic. And it's through these layers of interpretation that we make sense of the world. And that, in essence, is what a metaphor is. It's a way of translating one experience into another, connecting something unknown with something familiar. This is how we make sense of our lives. But when we tell a story, we don't just offer an explanation. Stories, powerful as they are, do something deeper. They connect us. They synchronize our brainwaves. The moment a story is told, something magical happens between the storyteller and the listener. Within seconds, their brainwaves begin to synchronize, creating a resonance, a shared experience. What's even more fascinating is that synchrony, it happens on a level that's much deeper than just the mind. It connects with the heart and even with the gut. Because you see, you have three brains, not just one. There's the brain in your head, the one that processes logic and reasoning. Then there's the brain in your heart, where emotions reside, where coherence between thought and feeling can create a powerful state of alignment. And let's not forget about the brain in your gut, the intuitive center, where wisdom is often felt long before it's processed consciously. When these three align, head, heart, and gut, something remarkable begins to happen. Your entire system starts to work together in harmony, creating a profound coherence that can override old patterns, create new pathways, and help you to break free from outdated programming. And here's where the power of metaphor truly shines. You see, human neurology is incredibly susceptible to metaphor. It's like a hidden door that can lead to profound change. When you want to shift someone's belief, change their perception, or transform their behaviour, all you need is the right metaphor, told in just the right way. It's the ultimate tool for influence, a force capable of transforming minds and realities. To truly become unstoppable, to unlock your potential, you must learn to tell stories. Every culture throughout history has relied on stories. Why? Because the language of stories, it's the language of the mind, the currency of connection. When you tell a story, the listener's brain synchronizes with yours. And suddenly, you're no longer two separate individuals. You're one, united in a shared experience. But not all stories are created equal. To maximize their impact, your metaphors must be aligned. isomorphic to the situation at hand. What does that mean? It means the metaphor must resonate with the listener's world, their context, their reality. If you're speaking to a group of female professionals, telling a story about an old man, it'll likely miss the mark. Instead, you need a metaphor where the hero is similar to them, the situation akin to what they experience daily. The more closely the metaphor mirrors their reality, the more powerful it becomes. So imagine for a moment you're telling a story about someone you know. A friend named Betty, for example. Betty's a nurse, and she often works with other nurses, training them in their profession. But sometimes she finds herself in situations where some nurses are unpredictable and chaotic, which causes Betty a great deal of stress. One day you tell her about a simple breathing exercise, a posture technique that helps her to stay calm. She tries it, and just like that, she begins to relax. As Betty, the authority in the room, becomes more relaxed, the energy shifts, and the entire group begin to calm down. Everyone starts working together smoothly. Now this metaphor not only explains a process, it also installs a belief that by staying calm and grounded, Betty can influence others around her in a positive way. And when you make that shift from simply explaining something to actually installing it, you can feel the difference. The energy changes. You're no longer just telling a story. You're changing the listener's internal reality. This shift in intention is subtle but it's powerful. And over time, as you become more tuned to these techniques, you'll easily detect when the shift happens in others. You don't always need to use isomorphic metaphors, but they're one of those effective tools at your disposal. You can also experiment with anthropomorphic metaphors, such as describing a tomato learning to breathe, creating a bridge to understanding that bypasses the critical factor of the conscious mind. These kind of metaphors, they're easy to grasp. And they're instantly effective because they speak directly to the unconscious mind, which is always ready to absorb new information. And let's not forget the power of challenging old beliefs. Take the example of someone who believes heart disease causes death. You could tell them about a friend who held the same belief, only to die shortly after being diagnosed. But then, in a twist, they're saved from a burning building by someone they once believed was inferior, a homeless person. And in that moment, their entire belief system is shifted. This, in essence, is how stories have the ability to shake even the most entrenched beliefs, opening a door to transformation. So as you weave these metaphors into everyday interaction, remember, the power lies not just in the stories you tell, but in the way you tell them. Through stories, you can create pathways into the mind, align the head, heart and gut, and change the way people perceive themselves and the world around them. It's not just about telling a story, it's about creating a shift, a transformation that happens both below the surface and in the core of the listener's being.